everyone, Thomas here and welcome back to another video. So today we're back here for another speed build, and today we're going to go ahead and create this Brindleton estate home. So if you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself, it is up on the gallery now. My origin ID is RealThomasTV1 and there should be a link in the description if it's an easier way for you to kind of download things from the gallery that way. But if it isn't there straight away, then it might be there the next day, because I actually have been a little bit behind on getting the gallery links into the description, because I normally like upload them once the build goes up, and sometimes I do forget to do that, so I have to do it the next day. So if you don't see it straight away, then that's why. But this home is a pretty big one. It's on the 64x64 lot in Brindleton Bay, and it's kind of just a family style home really. It has 8 bedrooms I believe, and a similar amount of bathrooms I'm going to say, because I'm not exactly too sure. But if you go to the gallery on the kind of, you know how you can select how many bedrooms and bathrooms it has, well if you look there it will have the correct amount. But I did actually build this last week, so I can't exactly remember everything about it, but I did just have a quick look through the screenshots, and I think I can see 8 bedrooms. Now I don't actually take screenshots of the bathrooms. I do the exact same thing for every single one of my bathrooms, because you know they're just very boring and not really that exciting. But you know what, I do actually normally show one bathroom in the speed build footage though sometimes, but you've seen it before anyway. But anyway, so there's probably going to be around, like, I'm going to say like 6 or 7 bathrooms or something like that. So this home, it's not got really any inspiration behind it. I kind of just, like normal, just sort of started building, and then I just kind of went with that. And I'm actually really liking doing these kind of L-shaped houses. It's nothing really new to me. I've done them for like, well, as long as I can remember really. Nothing really like a start date or anything, but it's just something that I feel like makes the house look a little bit more grand, I think, for some reason. I don't really know why, but so put one of those in. And it's got a lot of garden space as well, and of course the garage is changed into a gym, which I normally do. And actually, you will actually see a guest house in the backyard area, but that is actually changed into an indoor swimming pool. So I actually have done this idea once before. I can't exactly remember which one it was. It was one of my Get Famous mansions that I did. I can't remember which one it was, but I did do an indoor pool for the first time in one of those builds, and it was kind of a nice idea, and just kind of made it, you know, just something a little bit different in one of my builds. So that's what I did. And I was going to do a guest house, but the bedroom number was kind of high anyway, so I thought, you know what, let's just change it into something else. And an indoor swimming pool isn't something I do too often, so that's what I did with that room. And also as well, I kind of experimented with this thing by putting like the fish tanks in the walls with like windows on them. It sounds really weird. It's kind of makes like I don't know how to explain it. Like sort of like just a bit of a grander fish tank. It's really weird to say, but you'll see a little bit later. I did one in like the dining room, I believe, and also in one of the bedrooms has them. So you'll see that a little bit later. And it's something that I've seen done before, and I have tried to do it myself, but I've never managed to get it right for some reason. I just never really worked out. But I kind of just thought about it randomly as I was doing this build. I'm like, oh my god, why don't I try just put the fish tanks in a room and then putting like windows around it? And that's what I tried, and it worked. So really happy about that. So that's what we kind of did in this build as well. Just as something to kind of switch it up. You know, with the swimming pool, the indoor swimming pool, and also that little thing I just mentioned about the fish tanks, kind of just made it a little bit different, because sometimes I do feel guilty when I do like similar style homes that I've done before, because I have done, you know, suburban homes that kind of look like this before. And I know it's a feeling that builders have a lot when they do something that's similar, either doing a similar themed build or using, you know, similar objects from a previous build. It's kind of like a feeling of guilt, which is really weird, but that's kind of what I had with that. So just incorporating those 2 new little ideas to try out, and just an experiment for myself to see if they'd work. And that was just another way to kind of switch it up. So I've just been working on the exterior, doing a little bit of the landscaping, getting the structure done, and I also did a little bit of ivy as well. And just working on the garage there, which I changed it into a gym. Nothing really too special about it. It's kind of what I do for pretty much all of the garages, because I always feel like it's a better use of the space. And also as well, the ivy, I'm not being too sure about it actually, because I think the colour is maybe a little bit off. Sometimes I kind of think ivy doesn't always fit builds, so sometimes I do just leave it out, but I kind of felt like I needed an extra little something, so the ivy normally kind of gives that, but I don't know. You can take it out if it kind of bothers you, but I should have probably went for the red colour swatch. One version of that, Jungle Adventure Ivy, I think that might, you know, look a little bit better thinking back at it. So if it doesn't really bother you, then just leave it, but you could easily change the colour swatch of it if you wanted to. And also as well, I had this other little glitch where if you might be able to notice it from the thumbnail, but on the octagonal roof that's on the left, like, you know, the little pop-out thing on the left side of the build that comes out the L shape, well, on the end of that L-shaped thing there is an octagonal room sort of thing, and on the roof of that, you may have heard about this glitch where kind of, if you put a roof trim on an octagonal roof, depending on where it is, it'll make the roof trim go square and kind of pop out from the front of the octagonal roof, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard to explain actually, but if you go to the thumbnail and see it, then you can kind of see what I mean. But, well, saying that, I might go ahead and change the thumbnail because it is slightly bugging me. I didn't really notice it until I kind of really looked hard at the thumbnail and noticed it then, so maybe you didn't even notice it before I said that, or maybe you did notice it, but you know, I might change it. I don't really know. I'm gonna have to try and play around and see if I can get it to work, because I mean, it is a glitch after all, so it's kind of gonna still be there. Maybe I'll try and, you know, try a different angle that I take the picture at, but I don't know, I'll have to see. I don't really think it's a big deal. Anyway, so we're just starting to work on the interior here. We're not finished with the outside, I don't think. I think we've got a little bit more landscape to do. I normally kind of just jump all over the place these days with just, you know, doing random rooms and random parts of the build at different times, just to kind of keep it interesting for the speed build purpose. And also as well, you may have noticed this, I didn't really notice myself until I thought back, but with the, it's a really random thing as well, but the range hoods on ovens, I always forget to put them in my builds. I don't know why it is, but it used to be fridges, and then sometimes it used to be sinks, sometimes it would be bins, but now it's range hoods on ovens for some reason, so it's a little bit frustrating, but, you know, well, this build has it, but I've just kind of, when I was placing it down, I was like, I feel like the last couple of builds I've done, I didn't place one down, and I was actually correct when I went back to change that, so I don't know why if other people kind of have that same thing. It's a little bit odd. But yeah, so this is that little fish tank thing I was on about. You can see what I did. I basically just made like another little room, like a 2x1 room, and just put the fish tank in there from Spa Day, I think it is, or Dine Out, I think it's Spa Day. And then I just went ahead and put one of those kind of 2 tiled windows from base game in to make it like, you know, just so you can see it really, and it's just a little bit of an interesting thing, and I did actually go ahead and put one behind one of the beds as well, in one of the in one of the bedrooms, so you'll see that shortly as well. And yeah, so we're just working on this room here, which is the dining room. Nothing really too special about it. I don't always do dining rooms in my build. It's really just if there is the space for it. And, you know, since this is a 64x64 like mentioned, there was the space for it. So that's what we did here today. And as well, I went ahead and put 2 of the tables together. I don't really do that too often. Normally, if it's just for a space filling thing really. There was just a pretty big room, so I went ahead and did that. And I know for like most of the time, you're going to have like a maximum of 8 Sims in the household unless you use mods. But, you know, maybe you're having like a dinner party or something, then you can have up to 15, I think it is. So, you know, that could be helpful there. And I also think I went ahead and put a piano in that room as well, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think I did actually, as well as a bar. So that's also a great room for if you're going to have dinner parties and stuff, which is normally what I do with those kind of bigger homes. Or even if it's just a family home but has a space for it, I'll go ahead and put a couple of those things in, which kind of makes it a little bit better for parties and stuff. So this is the room here that was on about where I put the fish tank thing that I just did there in the dining room, behind the bed as well, and I actually really like it. I don't really think it's going to change into one of those things that you're going to see in every single one of my builds, because that's going to kind of get a little bit repetitive, but it's just one of those things that kind of switch it up, which I'll do once in a while. Actually, I was actually just working on a build earlier today, and I did do that once or twice throughout that build as well, but you're probably not going to see that until next Sunday, I think, because I'm on kind of just a pre-recording spree right now for no reason. I'm just really ahead of my videos. I think I've got videos done to like the 8th or like mid-February, so that's kind of a long time away, and it's just, you know, it's always kind of great though, because when that happens, I'm always kind of glad when I'm a little bit ahead of my videos, even if it's just a few days, not always as far as I am now, but, you know, just a little bit ahead. It's always great, because if I have one of those days where I'm kind of just not feeling great, or if I'm just kind of like, you know, not in the mood to build, which sometimes happens because I can easily get burnt out actually, because I do a lot of builds, so you know, some days I just do not want to build at all. So if one of those days is going to be an upload day, then, you know, it's great when I have a little bit of a backup, so I can just go ahead and upload one of those videos, and that kind of just works out well. So it also just adds to not making it as stressful, because, you know, overall this whole YouTube thing is supposed to be for enjoyment really, so that kind of just keeps that thing there, and you're not so focused on, like, you know, content and everything. So that's always a good thing as well. And yeah, so we're just working on this room here, which is the study. Again, I pretty much include one in every single one of my builds. Even I've found in the smaller homes as well, I always seem to put a study in. But also as well in the bigger homes, it's always a good use of space to kind of have one in. Sometimes as well, I will put one in bedrooms. I've noticed I don't do that too often though, but sometimes as well, I have like an informal in a formal living room if there's also the space for it. And sometimes in the informal room, I'll put, you know, a couple of those gaming tables from get together, and also kind of, you know, one of those things like a desk or something as well. So this room right here, just have a TV in, just because it has the space for it really. And also I sometimes put like the little ornament, what's it called? Something like along those lines. One of those things at the end of the bed. I sometimes put those in as like the chair next to the TV, or sometimes I make like a little table and 2 armchairs and stuff. So this room right here, do I put a double bed in this room? Yeah, I do actually. So this room could have, maybe if you're kind of, well, going back to what I pretty much say in every single speed build, is that I don't really do kids rooms in my builds. I just keep them neutral, so it's easy for you to kind of fit any type of sim family into one of my builds. So what I do sometimes is, if it's a small room like that one was, I might be only able to fit a single room in, so that kind of makes it, you know, a little bit more sort of fitting for like a teen or a kid or something. So that room, if you wanted to, then you could change that into a single room if you wanted to, because it is pretty small. But if I manage to kind of have the space for a double bed, I just tend to put one of those in instead of a single one. So this room right here is the laundry room. Now, it is huge. I think it's even bigger than the kitchen, which I didn't really think about until like just right now, actually, 1 week later after doing this build. But I did actually plan to have like a laundry room in. You know, it's not really something I do that often anymore, because I don't really hear that many people who actually play with laundry. I personally, well, first of all, I don't really play the game that often because I just never really get the time to, because I'm always building. But when I do, I kind of stopped playing with laundry until just a short while ago, because I just seem to have more glitches than things going right with that. So I just went ahead and stopped using it, and because of that, I kind of just automatically just made me stop putting it in builds without really thinking about it. But sometimes I do kind of manage to think actively about it and go ahead and put a laundry room in, or maybe just, you know, a little laundry section or something. So in that build, well, this build, I went ahead and put one in. So you can easily kind of take it out, maybe make that into some, like a bedroom or something if you wanted to, because it is a pretty big room. But even in the mansion builds, if I do decide to put a laundry room in that mansion build, it always tends to be a huge one. So yeah, so this one right here is just I would say this is the more formal living room. So you can see that the couches there are a bit more formal around that fireplace. And also as well, if in one of my speed builds, if I do a formal and an informal living room, the formal one doesn't tend to have doesn't tend to have a TV, just like a fireplace. And I always go for that one there from Cats and Dogs, so it's a really good size. It fills up the entire space. You know, some fireplaces like half that size, you can put a TV above it, but for that one you didn't need to. Yeah, I know some people kind of, you know, use the cheat to put things up. I can't think what it's called, like to not upscale, but you know what I mean. You press like Control 9 or something to move something up, and put like a TV in front of the mirror. I never really tend to do that with that fireplace, because I always tend to get a glitch with it, or it just doesn't really seem to fit right. But you could do that if you wanted to. So we're just working on another bedroom here, and I do actually really like using these wallpapers now. I've been trying to kind of switch things up where I can in my speed builds recently, and one of those things is that I've been tending to choose more kind of like just wallpapers and not just just the simple painted walls with like the trim on the top and bottom. I tend to go for like these ones here from Cats and Dogs, and you can also see there in the hallway how I've used that one. It's just a base game one, but it has like a pattern to it. I've been using those a few times as well recently, just as a way to switch it up from, you know, that particular build from other builds I've done. And I've never really tended to go with it though, because it always seemed to be a little bit kind of old-fashioned looking, I think. But kind of, you know, playing around with it a little bit more, I've actually I just like it now, so I've been using that a little bit more. And also in this room here, which is kind of just like another living room, I think that this actually might be the third one, if I'm not mistaken. No, is this the main one? No, I think it might be the third one actually, I can't exactly remember. But it again has one of those fish tank things, and this time, since this room was a little bit bigger, I did actually go ahead and use it as sort of like a room divider. So you can see there, it's just a room in the middle of the room, if that makes sense. And I used it to kind of separate this room off into kind of just 2 separate sections. And nothing, you know, for no particular particular reason. It just kind of seemed like a nice thing to do. And again, we are using it, doing it again in this bedroom. I'm probably because I think at the beginning I said I did it twice, but it's actually in this build that I was talking about that's coming up next week that I did it twice. It's just because I built this today. But well, that build today. Anyway, so I'm not going to probably overuse this a lot. It's just kind of, you know, something that I discovered in this build, so I kind of overused it a little bit in this build, but you know what, nothing wrong with that. It kind of looks nice, I think. I think it's actually a little bit more of a more modern thing to have, and I would say that this house is not really modern, but, you know, sometimes I think it does work when you kind of combine, you know, more traditional things with, you know, modern things, and it kind of works out sometimes, and in this case I think it did. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you here with the screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed. In the comments section down below, let me know about what you thought of this build. If you have any more suggestions for builds or mansions or anything you want to see next, that'd be really helpful to hear in the comments. Make sure you leave a like, share and subscribe if you haven't, and you can go ahead and download this home from the gallery. My origin ID is RealTaurusTV1, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!